this, and that music sounds awesome. And I smoke this, and that food is fucking delicious. And I smoke this, and fuck that Viagra. This shit works. This stubborn motherfucker next to me has been pushing for marijuana legalization in New York City, no shit, for 50 fucking years. 5 years ago, he came to my office. He said, I'm going to jail. I don't know when I'm getting out. I'm probably going to die in jail. We hugged. We said goodbye. Please give it up for my hero, Dana Beal!
I want to make a statement that we are not pro-addiction. We are not for hard drugs. We're for pot. We want to see a mostly alcohol and tobacco world be replaced with a mostly marijuana world. The world will be a better place. Let's make this country make sense and do the best thing we can, which is to legalize marijuana for the world. Thank you very much.
Perhaps the most unfortunate aspect of the anti-marijuana legislation is that it defines a crime which is a crime without any victim. I'm sick and tired of always having to look over my shoulder. I look in my rearview mirror and the cops, they're pulling me over. I'm sick and fucking tired of being searched and harassed time and time again. It's time we stood up and say no! Like in the days of Nancy Reagan. No! Can I search your car? No! Can I search your house? No! Can I search your pockets? No! Can I search your dorm room? No! I smoke pot! And I'm a good person! Yeah. So where else in the world can you see blacks, whites, browns, Latinos, all races coming together, united by a five-pointed leaf? No pot, no peace.
You gotta get this. We're doing everything that we can to legalize this.
The family that smokes together stays together. You have no idea.
It's a plant. It's a medicine. It's not going to change the world, but it's a matter of live and let live. And I think we should have live and let live with the squirrels too and the other animals.
They were speaking earlier on stage about how it can help with menstrual cramps. I have them really bad. Every month it can take me out of work. I can't move, but if I smoke, it helps get rid of those cramps and allows me to motivate and get through my day better than any aspirin or any over-the-counter drug I've ever tried.
60% of the country want to legalize marijuana, 50 to 60% of people use marijuana. So it's an herb that needs to come to its day. Stop the lies and legalize.
Yes, I was in narcotics for 14 years. I started my career at the beginning of the war on drugs. That was 1970.
Served 26 years in the New Jersey State Police, 14 years undercover in narcotics, worked everything up to billion-dollar international heroin and cocaine rings. Nothing I did in 26 years reduced the number of people abusing drugs in this country by so much as one person. As a matter of fact, it made it far worse.
Back then, they told us we had about 4 million people above the age of 12 who had ever used any illegal drug. That was 2% of that possible population in 1970. Today, DEA is telling us we have 121 million people in this country who have used an illegal drug. That is 46% of this population. So we went from 2% users to 46% users under a war on drugs. It's hard for me to even contemplate how we could have come up with a worse policy if what we really want to do is reduce drug abuse.
Since 1970, we have made over 50 million arrests in this country alone for non-violent drug offenses. 50 million, think about that. Some countries don't even have 50 million people. We made 50 million arrests. I helped create LEAP, and today it has well over 180,000 police, judges, prosecutors, prison officials. We have supporters in 120 countries. Last April, we were just accepted by the United Nations as an NGO with consultant status. We need to make this drug legal so we can stop sacrificing millions of our children on this altar of the drug war.
I normally don't feed the birds. Hey, come on, what is it with you?
3.5 to 5 million Americans, somewhere in between 3.5 and 5 million Americans, smoke marijuana every fucking day. And I am one of them. Proudly, happily, plays beyond words.
What? Hey.
Squirrel's right there next to you. He's right there.
That's my last nut. What? That's it. That's my last nut. So it's the animals kind of know it's good karma, you know. But I'm not into feeding pigeons. I like the squirrels.
Flame stealer, I crave the heat. I'm a flame stealer. I'm hot and I'm sweet.
One of my best friends who's here today made a huge point, which I think is worth repeating. He said that even Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are better on the cannabis issue than Bill Clinton was in the 90s, and that is actually true.
About 33 people every day are getting arrested in New York City for marijuana possession. 88% of the people who are being arrested for cannabis in New York City are black and Latino, and most of them are young men, teenagers and people in their 20s. That's the people who are getting arrested.
People would say, why are you involved in drug policy? There's so many other things like education and healthcare and foreign policy. Guess what, folks? Drug policy touches on every single one of those policy areas. The international system is ultimately going to be the last to change. Canada and Uruguay and these other countries are not asking permission from the United Nations. They're just going ahead and doing it.
Nevada is going to be voting to legalize marijuana this year. Maine is going to be voting to legalize marijuana this year. It looks like California is going to vote to legalize marijuana this year. Florida is going to vote to legalize medical marijuana this year. It looks like Arkansas may do the same. So we're going to have a lot of things going on in November besides the presidential election, and we're going to legalize it in 2016 in as many states as possible.
How are we going to legalize weed? We're going to legalize weed by making sure that everybody who has ever smoked marijuana and has gained benefit from smoking marijuana is free to tell everybody. Tell your lover, tell your mother, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your boss, tell the police.
Your source of cannabis news. Cannabis News Network.